Hello everyone, my name is Joe Schmidt and I'm going to be reading an essay that I wrote, a very short essay that I wrote that was inspired by this beautiful piece of art behind me. The artist who originally constructed this was a sculpture for the Burning Man Festival in 2015. His name is Alexander Milov and his piece was called Love. And when I first saw this artwork, I think it was online, and it just hit me hard. I was like, wow. I mean, what a profound message in this piece of art here. We got two children trapped inside of this metal sculpture, and of the two adults, and the adults are sitting with their backs to each other, and the children are inside like, I want to play. So I thought this was pretty good. And, really just with the way the world is today and all the just strife and things going on, we have a lot of differences, and I feel like the differences are showcased more, and there's a lot less unity. But this is something that, we can all relate to. We grow up and this kind of thing happens. We know we have that innocence in us, but we kind of lose it because of things that we go through. And I wrote about it, so I just want to read it, and hopefully you guys get something out of it. And here we go. So the title of my essay is called The Oasis. There they are, stuck in the prison of their own design. Oh, how the heart longs to be as pure as it once was, once long ago, before life's experiences bound them with thick metal constraints, before the protective walls of the ego were erected against any possible threats. The spirit of fearlessness and boundless affection, now just a foggy memory weighed down by a host of pain and confusion. With no solution in mind, they both war against parts of their very own nature. Baffled by their condition, they sit hunched over, squeezing their heads in their hands in a vain attempt to stifle the impact of opposing forces. Refusing to surrender, they sit and contemplate how the fight even began and why they can't solve it. The better parts of them are reaching out in hopes of making a connection. The small space between them becomes a vast canyon with each passing moment. They long for the sense of warmth and comfort which come from physical touch. Deep inside, their desire for harmony wars against an elusive need for protection. Their souls cry out to and against one another. Love and hate so tangled together one wouldn't know where to look for the ends. What happens to that child within us all who was willing to forgive so quickly? How do we transform into what we become? Do we live in a world so dangerous? Is all this protection necessary? When did this process begin? Was it the first time we realized what a lie was? Who lied to us? Was it our first bout with jealousy? How do we become so possessive? Did we grow up lacking guidance? Were we taught to be completely dependent on someone else for our happiness? Maybe it was that real first experience with heartbreak. That's it. The person we thought would never leave left. The person who was supposed to love and protect us became the source of our greatest pain. Our world shattered. Nothing else would ever matter, ever. We dread the sunrise the next morning. Hours become like days, days like months. We cry every time the thought of the loss sneaks into our consciousness. We drag ourselves to work and pretend that everything is okay. Nighttime becomes darker and colder. Noises that we wouldn't think twice about before are now monsters lurking in the shadows. Suddenly, we're like toddlers again, reaching out helplessly, desperate for someone, anyone, to fulfill our deepest desire to be loved and comforted. No one is there. To survive this horror, we stuff the pain and trauma down into our subconscious and go forward with a kind of synthetic naivete. A watered-down version of the childlike innocence we had originally now contends with problems in adult relationships. So there they sit contemplating, arguing with their own logic. How long will this go on? Some takes hours, for others days, and some stay for weeks, months, and even years until they are left in this desert, dying of thirst, alone for the rest of their lives. Is it worth it? If relationships never had conflict, would we appreciate the times of peace? Don't we need the days of rain and clouds in order to appreciate the beauty of a sunny day? Is this what it means to be human? To seek the space between two extremes, constantly bouncing between a deficiency and an excess? Must we embrace the reality of the struggle within each of us if we are to discover and experience some of life's greatest gifts? Is this really the price? Those of us who make it through these times are like decorated soldiers in life's battlefields. Knowing what we know about the power of love and the dangers of the dark side of it, we decide to take the leap over and over. Like jumping out of a plane with a parachute, hoping that the chute will open when we pull the cord. We give it another shot. Eventually, the few that walk the narrow road make it to a beautiful oasis. The few that have learned to set aside their pride, the brave souls that open themselves fully to love another person, find that they are never lacking anything. There is freedom in surrender. And to be free to love without conditions is life's greatest challenge, but also life's greatest gift. Thank you.